Okay, so in this video we are going to be looking at some non-calculator questions. It's again another mix and I've got 3 questions total, so let's jump straight to it. So the start is the exact same like our other arcs and sectors questions. I just want to write out my formulas same as before and identify which 2 fractions I'm going to use. So I'm being asked to calculate the area. And I've been given an angle down here and I've got my radius, and the only thing I don't have anything for is my length, so I'm not going to use that one. So then I'm going to substitute the information I do have, same as before. So the pi, I'm going to use that 3.14 that's telling me to, times 30 squared. So I'm going to rearrange it the same way as before, so A is the thing I want, and multiply across the diagonal. Instead of writing 30 squared, I'm actually going to write that out as 900 now, and that all goes over that last bit on the bottom. So my issue right now is I've got this 3.14. Preferably, I want to get rid of that decimal point somehow. So I need to look for a way to multiply this number here by 100. And luckily, I've got this 900 here. So essentially, whenever you've got those hundreds, or if you've got 2 bits of tens, you want to split them up so you can start multiplying the 3.14 by 100. So this 900, I'm going to think of as 9 times 100. And so when I multiply that 3.14 by 100, I'm going to get 314. And all I'm left with is 9 on the end there. So now I want to look to see where else I can simplify. So to begin with, I've got 40 over 360. Both of them end with 0, so essentially I can divide by 10, which is going to get rid of them. And this time, instead of writing 360 on the 36 on the bottom, I am in fact actually just going to write that out as 4 times 9, so as their factor pairs, and I can cancel out the matching pairs. And so all I'm left with is 314 on the top, and on the bottom would just be 1 because everything's gone, but I don't need that there. So 314 centimeters squared is my final answer. Okay, so question number 2. Again, writing out my formula. I'm being asked to calculate the arc length. I've got an area here. Oh, I ticked area earlier, but it's fine because I've got them both. And then I've got this radius here, which I can also use for my diameter. So the only thing I've not got is my angle, so I'm not using that fraction there. So I've got the arc length, which I don't know, over pi times 3.14 times 16 equals that area of 45 over 3.14 times 8 squared. And so here, L is the thing I want. So I've got L equals, multiply across the diagonal. All over the last thing that's on the bottom. And so writing 8 squared, I'm going to actually write that out as 64. So to begin with, I've got 3.14 on the top and the bottom. So I'm going to cancel those out. So luckily I don't have to even worry about my decimal. Then I want to look to see where I can split up some numbers into their factors to cancel them out. I've got 16 and a 64. I know that 8 definitely goes into both of them, so I'm going to split that up as 8 times 2 over 8 times 8. So cancel out one of those pairs. Then I've got this 2 and 8, and I can simplify that a little further because 2's can be divided into both. So instead of 8 on the bottom, I'm going to have 4 times 2. Cancel those out. And so my final answer is 45 over 4 centimetres. And don't get thrown off if your final answer can't nicely simplify down to that fraction, or down to like a simple number like this one here. Just go as far as you can, and if you do hit a point where you can stop, then don't be alarmed by it. Okay, and then the last question then. So writing out my formula. So I'm being asked to calculate the angle. I've got this length here, so I've got my length of the arc, and I've got my radius down there, so I have my diameter. Only thing that I don't have something for is my area, so I'm not using that one. So putting in the information I do have, don't know the angle. My length is 300. My diameter is going to be 400. So starting my rearranging, x is the thing I want. I'm going to multiply across the diagonal. That's all going to go over the last thing on the bottom there. So like before, with my 3.14, I want to get rid of that decimal. And luckily I've got this times 400, which I can sort of break that up as times 100 times 4, which is going to help me get rid of that decimal. So I still have that 300 times 360 on the top. On the bottom, I'm going to have 314 times 4. So I'm now going to start some of my simplifications. So to begin with, I can see I've got this 360 and this 4 here. I know 4 can go into 360. So I've got 300 times, and I'm going to change that 360 to 4 times 90 over 314 times 4. So cancelling those 4s out. And then the next thing, looking around, I've got even numbers on the top and the bottom. I'm going to split up the 9 here, the 90 even, with the 314. So 2 is going to go into both of them because they're both even. Times 45 all over, don't forget times the 2. 2 times 157. So cancelling those 2's out. So now left is the rest of the fraction that I have there. Now, this 157, that is a prime number, so I can't simplify that any further. So the last thing I need to do is figure out what this multiplication here is. And all I need to do for that is just set up a multiplication sum at the side. And it's totally fine to still use these sort of chimney sums to help you figure it out. So my final answer is going to be 13,500 over 157 degrees. So not a particularly nice looking number there, but that is it in its simplest form when staying as a fraction. Now, with the simplifying part in the non-calculator, that is definitely the trickiest part. But if you can at least get to this stage here, where I've identified my fractions and I've rearranged it, those 2 steps are usually the first 2 marks out of 3. So if you can at least get down to this point here, don't get thrown off by the fact it's a non-calculator. You can still pick up some really nice marks in the exam. Let me know if there are any issues, and good luck.